Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for returning to the channel. Today, we're reaching an unexpected turning point. Trung has come back, but before the joy could be complete, a shocking secret was revealed. Teo Nu's parents accidentally discovered that she's pregnant, and soon after they prepared a special gift for her, one that left even Trung speechless. But is this gift a blessing or a sign of an approaching storm? Will Trung and Teo Nu's love story move into a new happy chapter, or face challenges they've never known before? Stay tuned until the end to uncover the secret behind that gift. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next emotional moments in the journey of Trung and Teo Nu. The sun was still hiding behind the rows of green bamboo. Mist hung thick over the path, and droplets clung to banana leaves, trembling in the gentle breeze before falling onto the old tiled roof. Plop, plop, like time itself tapping slowly through the sleepy village. Inside a small house at the end of the road, Teo Nu sat by the window, her pale brown blouse wrapped around her slender figure. Faint light filtered through the leaves, brushing across her face, tender, yet shadowed by a sadness she could never quite name. On the table, a pot of tea had long gone cold from the night before. A few fallen leaves lay quietly on the floor. She placed a hand on her belly, a simple, unconscious gesture, yet it made her heart tremble. Inside was a tiny life, a fragile being, stirring softly amid her worries and hopes. Each morning, when the sparrows called to one another outside the porch, she would whisper, "My little one, the sky is clear again today. Be strong, so that when your father returns, you'll be able to hear his voice." But only the wind answered, gentle yet cold, like the sigh of heaven itself. Trung had left the village nearly 3 months ago. Since that day, not a single letter, not a single message. No one knew where he was, what he was doing, or if he was even safe. On countless nights, Teo Nu would sit beside the small oil lamp, her eyes fixed on the flickering flame as it danced. Sometimes she murmured softly, "You've been gone so long. Do you still think of me?" Then she'd smile faintly, trying to hide the tear threatening to fall. Each day, she still went to the fields early, her hands deftly tying vegetable stalks, mending the fence by the porch, as if to remind herself that life must go on, no matter how empty her heart felt. At noon, when the village grew quiet, she would bring a small chair out to the yard and look down the dirt path leading to the riverbank, the same road Trung used to walk whenever he came to visit. His shadow, his gait, his laughter, all seemed to linger in the air, though he himself was nowhere to be seen. There were nights when rain fell heavily. Teo Nu sat by the window, listening to the steady drumming of raindrops on the roof, breathing in the damp scent of the earth. Each clap of thunder made her heart jolt, not from fear, but from worry for the man far away. She feared he might be somewhere unfamiliar without shelter, feared he too was staring into the rain, thinking of her. She had wanted to write to him, but didn't know where to send the letter. The paper still lay there smudged by a few tears. That morning, as she saw the thick fog on the roof tiles, a thought crossed her mind. If Trung knew I was carrying his child, would he come back? Hope and fear tangled inside her, making her heartbeat quicken. She hadn't told anyone, not even her parents. Not because she was afraid, but because she wanted to protect this fragile faith, to keep it safe until the day she could hand it to Trung with trembling, joyful hands. From the yard, her little dog barked softly. Tio Nu looked up for a second. She thought she saw a familiar figure approaching. But no, it was just the delivery man passing by. She sighed gently, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and smiled faintly. "My love, I'm still here, still waiting." Finally, the sun began to slip through the tall areca trees by the gate, lighting up the small courtyard. Tio Nu stood, her hand resting once more on her belly. "My child, even if your father hasn't returned yet, I'll do everything to keep you safe. Because as long as we believe he will come home." Outside, the breeze carried the scent of young rice and areca blossoms across the yard. A new day had begun. Along with it, a fragile yet steadfast faith, beating quietly in the heart of the girl waiting at the edge of the village. That evening, a light rain began to fall. It wasn't heavy, but enough to make the earth smell rich and fresh, and the gray roof tiles shimmer with streaks of water. In the kitchen, Tio Nu quietly rekindled the charcoal fire. The flickering light cast a warm glow across her face, gentle, yet tinged with sadness. On the stove, a pot of vegetable soup was boiling, foam rising to the surface. She stirred it slowly, inhaling deeply to suppress the wave of nausea that suddenly came over her. From the porch, her mother, Mrs. Lee, stepped in, holding a basket of freshly picked greens. Her brow furrowed as she saw her daughter clutching her stomach, her face pale and drained. In a soft but worried voice, she asked, "What's wrong, dear? You've been eating so little these days. You've grown thin and pale too." Tio Nu shook her head, forcing a faint smile. "I'm fine, Mother. Maybe I just worked too early this morning." But when the mother placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder, the fragile warmth of that touch stirred an uneasy feeling deep in her heart, the instinct of a mother sensing something was not right. She looked at her daughter for a long moment, eyes of a woman who had lived through much, sensitive to even the smallest change in the child she once carried. That night, during dinner, Tio Nu remained unusually quiet. She ate very little, occasionally covering her mouth when the smell of braised fish reached her. Her father, Mr. Nam, picked up a bit of greens and said, "You look tired, child. If something's wrong, tell me. Don't hide it." The small kitchen fell silent. The oil lamp flickered weakly, and the shadows of the three of them stretched long across the wall. With her head bowed low, Tio Nu whispered, her voice barely audible, "I'm just a little unwell, that's all." But when she stood up to wash the dishes, a sudden dizziness struck. The bowl slipped from her hands and shattered on the floor. Mr. Nam jumped up in alarm, and Mrs. Lee rushed over to catch her. "Oh dear, you're burning up. What's happening to you, Tio Nu?" She forced a smile. It's nothing, Mother. I'm just tired. Mrs. Lee's trembling hand brushed against her daughter's stomach, and in that instant she froze. A mother's intuition told her the truth before any words could be spoken. Her eyes wavered. Her voice broke. "Tionu, are you?" Before she could finish, tears were already streaming down her daughter's cheeks. Tionu sobbed, clutching her belly, her voice shaking. "Mother, I'm pregnant." Time seemed to stop. Mr. Nam's weathered hands clenched tightly. His old eyes glistened with tears, not of anger, but of shock, worry, and a deep ache for both his daughter and the unborn life ahead. Mrs. Lee sank down beside her, wrapping her arms around the trembling girl, tears falling endlessly. "Oh, my foolish child. Why didn't you tell me sooner? You've been suffering alone. What if something had happened?" Tionu buried her face against her mother's shoulder, crying between words. "I was scared. Scared you'd be disappointed. Scared of what people would say. But I don't regret it, Mother. Even if Truong never comes back, I want to keep this baby because it's a part of him." The rain outside kept falling. Thunder rolled faintly in the distance, as if echoing from another world. Mr. Nam stood still for a long time, then took a deep breath. His voice was low and rough, but steady. "You've made your choice, and we won't blame you. But you can't keep living in a rented house. Let me talk with your mother. We'll build you a home. You and the child deserve a place to belong." Mrs. Lee looked up at her husband, tears still streaking her cheeks. "Yes, I was thinking the same. A small house right behind the garden, a safe place for her. Her belly's getting bigger. It's dangerous for her to keep running back and forth." Tionu lifted her head, eyes red and swollen. "Father, Mother, I can't let you do that. I'll be fine here with you." But Mr. Nam shook his head gently, his tone calm but resolute. "No, my child. You need your own home, a place where when Truong returns one day, he'll see that you and the baby have been living in peace. That's how you keep hope alive for him and for yourself." That night, Tionu lay in bed, unable to sleep. Outside, the rain kept falling, mingling with the sound of hammers from a neighbor's house, repairing their roof. She placed a hand on her belly and whispered softly, "My child, your grandparents love you so much. I was once afraid, once hiding, but now my heart feels warm. Because even though your father hasn't come home yet, we'll have a house, a place to wait for him." A flash of lightning lit up the wet courtyard. In the distance, a dog barked, then fell silent. Only the sound of wind rustling through the bamboo remained. She closed her eyes and smiled faintly. In her drifting dream, Truong returned. He wrapped his arms around her from behind his hand, resting on her belly, his voice trembling with emotion. "I'm home, Tionu. I'm home with you and our child." In the days after the truth came out, the atmosphere in Tionu's home changed completely. No more silent meals. No more hidden glances. Instead, the yard was filled with the sounds of hammers, saws, and bricks clinking together. Mr. Nam and Mrs. Lee began to prepare quietly, carefully, for a plan they both understood without words, to build a small house for their daughter and the grandchild yet to be born. The beginning of a dream. At dawn, before the sun had even risen, Mr. Numb walked to the back garden, where there was an empty patch of land beside an old starfruit tree. It was the place where, as a little girl, Tiu Nu used to play, where she had once hung a cloth hammock between two areca palms and laughed in the breeze. He stood there for a long time, then murmured, "This spot will do. It's cool close to the house. Rain or shine, we can reach her quickly. Our girl will finally have a home. No more wandering, no more loneliness." Beside him, Mrs. Lee clutched the hem of her blouse, eyes glistening. "She's still so young. Poor child, she's had to bear so much gossip and shame. I just hope this house reminds her that even if the world turns its back, her parents never will." Mr. Nam said nothing, only nodded. Each of her words seemed to weigh heavier on his shoulders, but in his heart something eased. For the first time in many restless nights, he had a purpose, something to build for his child, for his own flesh and blood. The house takes shape. The work began with the first brick. Neighbors passing by asked curiously, "Are you rebuilding your house, Mr. Numb?" Mrs. Lee just smiled. "No, just putting up a small cottage in the back so our daughter can have some peace." People in the village understood. Some felt sympathy, others whispered. But Mr. Numb didn't mind. Each morning, he shoveled sand by hand. At noon, Mrs. Lee cooked sour snakehead fish soup for the workers. By evening, the couple would sit side by side under the porch, watching the frame of the house slowly rise. Red roof tiles, whitewashed walls, simple wooden windows. But in their eyes, it was a small castle filled with love and hope. The nights of quiet devotion. Every afternoon, Tiu Nu would come out to watch and quietly wipe away her tears. She never imagined that her parents' love could be so deep, so boundless. One night, she woke up and saw the yard still lit. Through the dim light, her father was sawing wooden planks, working late to finish the roof by morning. She stepped closer, laid a trembling hand on his shoulder, and said softly, "Father, please rest. Don't work anymore. I can't bear to see you like this." He looked up, wiped the sweat from his brow, and smiled gently. "It's all right, my dear. I'm used to it. Building this house for you, it makes me feel like I've been given another lifetime to live." Then he turned away, hiding his red, tearful eyes. A mother's gift. One evening, when the house was almost done, Mrs. Lee brought over a curtain and a small bamboo cradle she had woven herself. "I'm not good at weaving like other people," she said, "but I made this with love, so my grandchild can sleep peacefully." Tiu Nu looked at the simple cradle and tears welled again. She placed a hand on her belly and whispered, "You see, my child, your grandparents love you so much. I promise I won't cry anymore. I'll be strong and I'll wait for your father to come home." Outside, the wind carried the scent of ripening rice. Frogs croaked in the fields a summer lullaby. The house was small, but every brick, every wooden beam held within it love, faith, and the boundless compassion of two people who had walked through most of their lives. The day of completion, when the house was finally finished, the whole village came to help clean up. A new red-tiled roof, a pale green wooden window frame, inside on the wall hung an old photograph of Tio Nu and Trung, taken the day they had held hands beneath the areca trees. Mrs. Lee wiped the frame with trembling hands, her voice breaking. "I'll hang this here so that every morning when you open your eyes, you'll still see hope and believe that one day Trung will return." From the porch, Mr. Nam gazed at the newly finished roof. His voice was low and rough, choked with emotion. "From today, this is your home. You won't have to fear the storms anymore. And if one day that boy comes back, I just hope he knows that no matter what happened, there's still a home here waiting for him." The whisper at sunset. That evening, the sunset spread its golden light across the freshly painted walls. Tio Nu stood before the new house, her hand resting on her belly, smiling a gentle, warm smile. Above her, the clouds drifted apart, revealing a brilliant blue sky. In her heart, she heard a whisper, like the wind carrying a voice from far away. "My love, the house is finished now. Wherever you are, if you ever wish to return here, I'll still be waiting with our child." My dear friend, if you too believe that in this life, love and compassion can heal every wound, then leave a comment below and tell us what you think about the journey of Tio Nu and Trung. Do you believe that one day he will return and that the house her parents built might welcome a new miracle? Share your feelings with us, because your words are what inspire us to keep writing the next chapters of this story. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a heart, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next episode of Tio Nu Trung and the little life growing within their circle of love. Thank you for listening, and may you have a peaceful evening where love continues to bloom, no matter how many storms may come.